Welcome back. You too. In this episode, we talk about the greatest virtue. We meet a man named Paul, and I sit down with global content creator Brittany Xavier to hear her story. I'm Justin Sapp. Welcome to Sapp Stories.
Fascinating.
History has a way of separating people into two categories: those who lived with virtue and those who were succumbed by their vices. We hear it in the way that we talk about those who came before us. There were those who stepped out into greatness. They became exactly what they were supposed to be. They defeated every single internal struggle, every one. And then there are those who succumbed to their vices, right? They rotted from the inside and caused pain to every single one around them. But for those of us who have ever had a struggle and who have ever tried to better yourself, you know that it's far more nuanced than that. And when we think about those who came before us, it's the ones who had vices, had struggles, but they kept showing up for themselves every single day. Those are the ones who speak to us. Those are the ones who inspire us. The virtues come to us by way of the Greeks through Socrates, and then later honed by Aristotle and the Stoics. The virtues are many, but throughout history, the ones that have risen to the top are honesty, ambition, humility, and love. But I believe that there is one who sits atop them all. The one that Maya Angelou once said, "Without this virtue, you cannot practice any of the other virtues consistently, darling." Courage. Courage. The defining virtue. It's history's great categorizer. Those who lived with courage and those who were overcome by fear. How could this South African attorney spend 27 years in prison, and then when released, he spends the rest of his life serving those who put him in prison, fighting for those who were unjustly treated because he wanted to see a nation of peace? When Mandela was asked, what was the hardest part about being in prison for that long? He put his seat back and said, "The hardest part about being in prison was to change yourself." That it wasn't his outside circumstances. For him, the hardest part was continuing to show up to be the best version of himself every single day. When I was thinking about the episode, I asked myself, when have I seen moments of courage displayed in my own life through the people around me? My mom had this dream of going to Paris her whole life. Unfortunately, her first marriage did not work out, and the second time she was engaged and her fiance passed away. And so she was met with a choice. Do I keep this dream alive or do I succumb and bury it? Year after year, she would grow a bit more. She would take some French classes until finally she garnered the courage to take herself to Paris. She would go many times. But when I think about someone getting on the plane by herself, going to a new city by yourself, traveling by yourself, sure, you may hear that and go, that's so sad. But think about the bravery in that. Think about the courage in that, the fight for that says, no, I'm going to keep showing up for myself every single day. I will not succumb to fear or cynicism or doubt. And it's not just people who have passed on, it's you. When you are overcome by sadness and you choose to get out of bed and get dressed and present yourself with dignity to the world, it's courage. It's the moments where you've had an incredibly difficult day and it seems like everything went wrong, but you stop to point out the things you're grateful for. It's courage. It's those little moments of courage that determine our destiny. I once heard a story about a man named Paul who had an opportunity to choose courage. Check this out.
Okay, so just share my story. Okay, I moved here after the war with my Lucy, my wife of over 50 years. This was our park, city park. We'd come here and we'd talk and we'd laugh, talk about our children, we'd talk about the lives we've led. We learned how to live together and how to die together. So much has changed. She was just the hope of my life. About 4 years ago, my baby girl, she died. She went home before me. And so I come here every day. After I have my coffee, make my breakfast, I make my way over to the park, and I just talk to her. Ask her how she's doing up there. Tell her what it's like down here. It's much louder now. Everyone has a little dog in LA. Oh, he's friendly. I didn't ask if he was friendly. You know, get him away from my leg. You know? And I just talk to her. Okay, Lucy, it's about dusk. I wonder what it's like. She loved it. Roses were her favorite. They're just starting to come out now, so I like to take my camera just in case I grab a few pictures of roses for her. You may listen to that and say, oh, so sad, I'm sorry for Paul. You know, needs to move on with his life, right? To that I say, you might be right. But I also say, I think there's something to be said for people that keep showing up. You know? Even when they don't know what they're showing up for. They keep waking up, they keep getting dressed. They keep hoping to create some type of moment where they might meet God or meet love or something, and I keep showing up. It's a fight. Old people don't tell you that. It's a fight. It takes a fight and courage to get out of bed every day. I said, come hell or high water, I'm not staying in this house. I'm going to the park, and I'm gonna sit and talk. I'm going to the park, and I'm gonna sit and talk to my Lucy. Even if she's not there, I'm gonna sit and talk to her. And one of these days, just maybe she'll talk back. She left before me, but that's my next great feat. I'm gonna catch her one day. I'm gonna get to her. Well, my name's Paul Washington.
Thanks, Paul. You crazy guy. Today, our guest influences global fashion markets to her millions of subscribers. She is a global content creator, wife, mother, and it all started one day when she decided to choose herself. Meet Brittany Xavier. You know, there's a Roman philosopher that says, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Mm-hmm. And with your modeling background and this curiosity for fashion that started growing, and then this thing called Instagram appears, and you didn't just like flirt with it and see what happens, like you went all in. And so I think that's the thing that people want so bad, like in their lives, like how do I get that? How do I get the ability to just try something? Mm-hmm. And so how did you do that? We started this literally from scratch. My husband and I brainstormed together. We really loved the idea of a blog. When we first got married, we were reading wedding blogs. And after we got married, they no longer applied to me. And it was kind of that segue into let's start a blog that's more about lifestyle, more about my fashion. And I think from then, we just saw the tiny growth that we were getting from the readership month after month. And that really motivated us to keep going and really stick with it. We really had a consistent schedule, did not miss a day posting. I would post sometimes 3 times a day on my Instagram. Like I was so I'm gonna make this work because I want to at least give it a good shot. And if it doesn't work, then whatever. But how do you explain it though? Because that's actually one of the things I'm most curious about with you. What was compelling you to post 3 times a day when no one had even heard of Instagram yet, and you're just fully in. You know, I'm sure like people are like, this is crazy. This is
people
weird.
were like, I don't know why you're putting so much effort into this.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did discourage me, but I honestly think I was surrounding myself with reading and listening to podcasts that were putting me in the mental space where I was listening to a lot of Pat Flynn at the time, where he was doing the passive income with online marketing. You know, I was getting clicks on my blog and we're like, this is cool. Like, we're getting a little bit of income. And I would have a clothing fund. So I thought, if I can get any more extra income, I can put to my clothing fund and I can shoot more photos. And it was just all reinvesting in a way.
Yeah. I think there could be a lot of misconceptions around your job. What do you think might be the biggest misconception about being Brittany Xavier?
The biggest misconception would be that I'm a stay-at-home mom and I've always had money and I am able to do this for fun. I'm just doing this for the hell of it. I don't know why I would be doing this every day if I was literally making no income.
My wife and I, we have the privilege of knowing you, you know, as who you are, but also as a person and a mom and a wife. And now, as you mentioned, people get to see Jaden, and she's obviously growing into her own. But a lot of people may not know that when Jaden was born, it posed a new challenge for you, you know, at that stage of life. What was that stage of life for you?
So at the time when I found out I was pregnant, I was 19 and I had just finished my freshman year of college. Not that it was getting in the way of my life, but I was like, this is not good timing at all. And also like devastating because I can't tell my parents it's going to be like terrible. It was just the whole fear aspect of it, of like, this is going to end my life. Like, I wanted to be an attorney. I wanted to work in a high rise in New York. So at the time, I was just beyond devastated. Didn't feel like there was any good time for me in my life to have a kid, let alone when I was 19. So. And
then you have this beautiful baby. And I know you continue to work hard in various different ways, but I would imagine that was part of your fuel for your work ethic. And so what did that feel like? What did that look like, and how you approached blogging?
So I remember when I was in college, because my mom was helping me, I lived at home and I commuted to University of Laverne so that way I could finish my degree. I remember one of my friends in my class was complaining that, I don't have any time in the day, like I need to do my research paper. And I was like, I worked a full-time job, came home super late at night, would write my research paper while Jaden was asleep. And then I would get up early for school. So my days off, I was also working. I would work on the weekends. During that time, I had to learn time management. That was a huge skill that took me into my time. My career now was, I know I can get everything done. I just had to manage my time well to slot in everything. And that has been a huge help for me.
If there was a young girl or boy or however you identify who's saying that, you know, I feel like I'm so late to the game, but I would like to start. I'm into fashion. I'm into photography. Where would be the first place you would tell them to start?
I would suggest starting with TikTok. Quite a bit of brands are restructuring their strategy where they want native TikTok creators, and brands are loving Gen Z right now. So if you're in that Gen Z category, you have a huge opportunity. It's not too late. You're going to be something new and exciting for whoever's on your list that you really want to work with. Start looking at that person's page. What kind of videos are they posting? What kind of content do they really gravitate to? Surrounding yourself with people, whether it's your friends, or if you don't have friends that think like-minded or kind of inspiring you to be a little bit different or think outside the box, then there's podcasts, there's books, there's websites now. You can just really immerse yourself into just getting all the information. But I would say one of my biggest pieces of advice is don't try to be too perfect before you launch something. Just launch it. It's never going to be something that's completely set in stone. You can always fix it. You can always update it. You can always evolve. And I think a lot of people hold back on, well, my website's not the person I need to work with, or, you know, my Instagram's not the way I want it to be. It's too much. You hold back because you don't want it. You think you have to be perfect with it.
I'm definitely one of those people that you have inspired over the years tremendously. Will you come back and visit us again?
Yes, I will.
Awesome. Thank you.
And you need to come on my channel.
I will. I will be there.
Yes, we can do some fun, maybe, I don't know, we can brainstorm.
Awesome. Thank you, Brittany.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Your story matters. Let's keep trying to show up for ourselves every single day and see what happens. May we think of one another with compassion and always remember, people are fascinating.